I'll be handing over to you so you can start.
Hello, everyone. This is Tracy. I'm just going to wait for a few people to come in, and then we can kick it off. But while we're waiting, let me introduce myself. My name is Tracy Oyekomi. I am based in Vancouver, Canada, and we have a platform called Visible at Work where we train and we have a safe platform for highly skilled immigrants, highly skilled foreign trained professionals, and those that have English as a second language to really stand out at work and really understand the nuances of culture shock, adjusting to working abroad, whether in the US or Canada or other parts of the world, that is different from your passport country or your home country. And we're going to be talking today on how you should plan for your career as you relocate. So you're welcome, everybody, to this webinar. I'm just going to give a few minutes for everybody to join, and then I'll share my screen. While we're waiting for others to join, it'll be great to know who else is on the call. If you could also introduce yourselves, I would like to meet everybody. Does anybody want to go first?
Sorry, Tracy, can I go first?
Yes, please do.
Okay. Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Simi Luluadilaja. Sorry about the background noise, I'm on the road. So I'm an associate product manager looking to land my first ABM role. Although I have background in product support and I'm a recent graduate of English language from University of Lagos.
Yay,
so, yeah.
Fellow English language graduate.
Nice to know that, Tracy. Thank you, Tracy.
Nice to meet you. You're welcome, Simi. Who else wants to introduce themselves? I see a name here, Glory. Glory, do you want to introduce yourself? Okay, Glory typed a message. She says hello. If you don't want to speak, but you just want to type a message, feel free to. We'll just give at least another 4 minutes for the stragglers. If you have a background noise, you could mute your mic so that everybody else can hear. If you're in a noisy environment, just mute your mic, and then when it's time to speak, you can always speak up. So it is a few minutes past 6:06, well, 9:06 on my end. So we will just wait till 6:10, so which is in 4 minutes, and then we will officially start the webinar. The way I like to do webinars, more of conversation webinars. So I'm not going to be the only one talking, and which is why I wanted us to introduce ourselves first, because it's going to be an interactive webinar. It will be broken into 3 parts. So the first part would be 15 minutes of me talking. The second part would be another 15 minutes of question and answers. And then the third part would be 15 minutes of demonstration. So we'll do demos on your LinkedIn profile. Anybody that wants to volunteer their profile, I will type in their profile, check it out, and then I'll tell you what you need to look out for when you're relocating, or once you make the jump to relocate, or if you've already moved and you see that you're not getting any callbacks or you're not getting any nobody's reaching out to you, then I'll tell you what to look out for on your profile. So get ready to volunteer your profile, And if you want live feedback from me, that's what we're going to do in the last session. So first session, I'll talk. Second session, you speak, and I will answer questions as much as I can. And then the third session, we'll do a demo, different demonstrations on different things to look out for. So this is how it's going to be very interactive for everybody. Yes, I believe Glory left a message. Oh, my name is Glory, a legal practitioner in a private practice. You're welcome, Glory. It's a pleasure to meet you. Anybody else, if you don't want to speak, you can just type in your message and I will read it out for everyone to hear. Then we will start. So while we're waiting for everybody, other people to join, I'm just going to prepare my share my screen so we can see my screen and then we can start.
Hi, Tracy, do you need any help?
No, I was just saying that I'm going to start at exactly 6:10. So I want to just give people that time to be able to come in and then we can all start on the same page. So while we're waiting, we can do introductions. I have introduced myself and I would like everybody to introduce themselves as well because I said it is going to be an interactive session. So, okay, yeah, so we are actually on 9:10. And now we're going to start officially. Okay, so another message just popped in. Peculiar, hello everyone, Peculiar, HSC and compliance officer in a marine company. Nice to meet you too, Peculiar. Grace is a teacher from Lagos. She's been looking forward to this because she feels Canada is a new fresh slate for her. And I don't think I would like to continue my current career. So perfect, you are in the right place. So I believe we have, I see we have 15 participants, but I think I've only introduced 5 people. So don't worry, we're still going to come back to the introductions later in the session. So like I said, it's going to be divided into 3. The first part will be, could you please mute your mic? So the first part would be introductions, well, which we've done. Well, the main part will be the webinar at the beginning. The second part will be Q&A, questions and answers, another 15 minutes. And then the third part would be demonstration. So you would share your profile and then I'll tell you what a few things you need to look out for and change. And then we'll just make it interactive. So that's how we're going to run. So I'm going to share my screen. Bisola, could you please enable me to share my screen so I could share my screen? I would do more of like the talking head, but I just want to share my screen just to outline a few things that would be useful to everybody in this session. Let's try.
Yeah, I'm working on that.
Perfect. Thank you. So Bisola has allowed me to share my screen. Oh, I think I can see Bisola's screen and not mine. Okay, yeah, I think I'm in the right place. So I need to move. Okay. Please let me know if you can see my screen. Let me know once you can see my screen.
Yes, I can.
Oh, perfect. Okay. So I'm happy that you can see my screen. So just like the topic today says, targeting the right career as you relocate. And what we're going to focus on is what you will learn, strategies to deal with the cultural differences without losing your identity. That is bound to happen. And then tools to keep you top of mind, and then hacks to monitor and maximize your impact at work, even if you're not in the office. We're all working virtually now. And
Sorry, Tracy.
lastly, yes.
Sorry to interrupt though. The screen me I'm seeing is Zoom 5.4.2 is here. I don't think it is your screen. I
Oh,
think it's still
wow.
Bisola's screen. Sorry.
Okay. Thank you for letting me know. Wait, let me stop the share and then come out. Oh, it's Bisola's. I'm seeing Bisola's screen now. So it's a screen in a screen. Okay, you know what? Um, let maybe we'll just just a minute.
Okay. What do you want me to do? Because I thought I already shared your
You
screen.
enabled me to share my screen, but
Okay.
everybody's seeing Bisola's screen. So
Yeah. So should
okay,
we
let me
stop
know
on the
once more
one?
if you can see my screen.
Okay, I can see your screen now.
Yes,
Targeting
I
the
can
right career
see
as
it
you
too.
relocate.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Can
Okay, can
everyone
you
see
all
your
see my
screen?
screen?
Yes.
Yes,
Targeting the
yes.
right career.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay. So this is just a preamble just to let you know what we're going to be covering, and then I'll come back to the talking head. So we're not going to be doing much of slides. We're going to be doing, I like to do like face me, I face you kind of conversation. So what I really want us to prepare for is the strategies to deal with the cultural differences beyond the job, beyond the work, beyond the career. There's going to be a lot of cultural differences that you'll deal with. And I'm going to share a few strategies for you so that you don't lose your identity while you're also looking for work. And then the tools to keep you top of mind, and hacks to monitor and maximize your impact at work, even if you're not in the office. So a lot of companies are recruiting remotely. So even if maybe by next year, maybe there might be a vaccine, there's already a vaccine in tow, and people start going back into office. By the time you land, maybe you might get a remote work first. So this is a good thing to know. And then lastly, I'll invite you on a personalized strategy for either the current role that you have. I also see some people have introduced themselves and say they want to look for another career. So, or the one you aspire to get. And I think we already know who this webinar is for, but just to reiterate once again, if you're a foreign professional, so you work in a different country than your passport or your birthplace, a lot of us on this webinar have plans to move abroad, or we're already abroad, or you are a first or second generation immigrant, or you are ready for global opportunities through working abroad. So I believe a lot of us fall in that category here. Or you have English as a second language. So I have some clients as well that maybe their first language is not English. They probably speak Spanish or Mandarin or Cantonese, and then they moved abroad. So some of those things might feel like a barrier to them. So that is who this webinar is for. So remember the first part I said we're going to talk about the cultural differences. I just want to share this quote with you, and then you see me on the next slide. So a little bit about me. I have managed multicultural teams globally for 10 years. That's why I have that experience professionally managing international teams. Also an adjunct instructor for the Chartered Institute of Marketing in the UK. And then I moved abroad twice myself in 3 years, well, now 4 years. And then I was also named a Pollock Scholar for Families in Global Transition. So I understand the need of moving abroad and starting afresh, both from a professional standpoint when you're working in a new workplace, and also from a personal standpoint, moving myself. So I'm going to share this quote with you from the MetLife study. It was a research that was done on expats, people who move, that employees who work outside their home countries lean on strong relationships with their employers to navigate work and life in a foreign country. And that's the vice president and head of MetLife Worldwide Benefits. So they deal with employee insurance and all of that. And they work with a lot of international professionals. So why did I bring this up? Relationships will form the basis of your career success abroad, whether you like it or not, whether you see it as important or not, whether you are an introvert or an extrovert, whether you like to talk to people or not. This is something that you have to face, you have to deal with. And I don't want you to see it as being a very big thing, but I want you to see it as a very big focal point as you prepare to move. When you look at your skill set, you look at everything you have. If you have 1 or 2 degrees, if you have additional certifications, if you have all those things, the crux of your success in the US, in Canada, in Australia, in Norway, anywhere else you're looking at, is relationship. It is relationship. So, and which is what we do at Visible at Work, helping you position yourself to build those relationships so you can attract those opportunities. So at the beginning, when I started, I said there will be a lot of cultural differences, and this is how it will play out. If you have your pen and paper, please write out 3 buckets that you might find yourself in when you move abroad. Could you please mute your mic? I think there's somebody in the chat that has their phone on. Thank you. Please mute your mic. Thank you. So I was saying that if you have a pen and paper, jot down 3 buckets that you might probably find yourself in. So the first bucket is being unemployed. You've been employed where you're coming from, you have years of experience, but the day you land, you might not have a job offer waiting for you. So that's the unemployed part. That's the first bucket. That's the first bucket. Most 99% of people come. When they come, the first bucket is you are unemployed at that moment. Once you land
Hey,
on
I
that
can't hear
position,
you. I don't know if it's from my hand.
I think it's from your end. If you can hear me, if anybody else can hear me, please type in the chat. Say yes, you can hear me. Let me type in the chat as well. Can you hear me? Okay. If everybody can hear, so Bisola, that's probably from your end. Okay, so I will continue with what I was saying about the 3 different buckets. And to point that out, I really love what Hills and Tech is doing, really preparing you on the different tools, different things that has to do with technology and how that applies to your role. Whatever role whatever experience that you have or that you've gathered over time, there is a use of technology either way. Write that down. Please mute your mic. Please.
Mommy,
Yes, mommy is busy right now. Please, Chibuzo, can you mute your mic? And everybody else, if you are, before we get to the Q&A session, just mute your mic. And then when we get to that session, you can open up your mics and ask questions. Thank you. So the thing about Hills and Tech, what Hills and Tech is doing is really to prime you and prepare you, because you always need technology. Trust me, whether you're a teacher, you're in construction, you're in HR, you're in anything, you will use technology. And you have to know the tools that would be used in your industry by the time you come in or before you come in, and even knowing additional tools as well. So the first bucket, like I said, is the unemployed bucket. The second bucket, which is the bucket that a lot of us fall into when we come and we stay stuck there, that's the underemployed bucket. I know a lot of us here, we're very spiritual. We'll say, God forbid, it's not my portion. I reject it. I cannot be underemployed. But it's the reality. It is the reality. And I know sometimes you will hear some people say, their family members or other people say, don't come home. Things are not easy here. And there's so much tax. There's so much this. There's so much that. But you're building house. You're moving forward. You say I should not come. I'm still going to come. So the underemployed bucket is where a lot of people fall in, where you come, there's a stopgap, you have bills to pay, so you get a job that enables you to pay your bills. Because of course you need to keep a roof over your head, and then maybe even the industry you come into, that you've come from, you have to recertify. So let's say you're a doctor, you're a surgeon, you cannot just come and they will just give you patients to start operating. If it's you, and they say this doctor just came yesterday from this country, it's only in Nigeria that maybe that will happen. They will allow that doctor to start operating on somebody, except if that person is a visiting doctor. So they have their own protocol. So you might need to recertify in some regulated industries. And then the third bucket is the employed bucket. So you're employed in your skill set, in your industry. You're employed to the tune of you're in a place where people, they respect your values, they respect your skill set, and you're bringing your intellect to the table. So the things you went to school to learn or what you trained for, that's where you're now using your skill set. That's the employed bucket. So my job here is really to be on your side and to prepare you for moving from that or shortening that gap. Some people will say it takes an average of 5 years to really find your feet, to move from that gap of either being unemployed or underemployed to be employed. 5 years. That's research done in Canada by PhD professors. They did research and PhD scholars, and it takes an average of 5 years. So now, how do we shorten this gap from 5 years to at least maximum within a year to 3 years, or even less than a year? It is possible, but it can only be possible with having a plan and a blueprint in place, having a strategy in place, not moving in blindly, praying and spraying. So praying and spraying technique is the art of coming in and just doing your resume and start sending it out. Sending out 100, 200, 300 applications. I've heard cases of people saying that 300 applications before they finally got an offer. And even the 300 applications, maybe from those 300, they had maybe about 10 interviews out of 300. And then before they now got an offer. So you don't want to fall into that spray and pray technique. Why? Because it messes with your mind. Because you begin to think all sorts of things. How come by now I should have? We don't want those type of stories. So you have to plan and prepare ahead of time. So now the first gap, to move from that, you just landed, freshly landed, now you're moving from underemployed to employed, is to have your career materials ready. We always emphasize on your resume. Oh no, don't do 5 pages. It has to be 3 pages. It has to be 2 pages. Of course, in North America, the standard is a page, 1 page. If you have maybe between a year to 5 years of experience, and then if you're looking at 7 to 10 years or even more, then we can talk about 2 pages. But most importantly, a page to 2 pages. But at the same time, we lay so much emphasis on the resume. There's so many things that you've done in your whole life. How can you squeeze all the experience you've had into 1 page or 2 pages? This is where relationships come into play. This is where being brief, being really concise comes into place, to extract the good out of your experience, to highlight that skill set of where you are heading. So you're not going to emphasize what you've done before. You're going to emphasize where you are going. So I want to use an example of somebody because sometimes it feels like, so it doesn't look like I'm talking in abstract. I want to use an example. Let me go back to the chart from the introduction and then see who I can use an example from. So I'm going to use Peculiar's example. So Peculiar is in HSC and she's the HSC, that's Health and Safety and Compliance Officer in a marine company. So now, Peculiar, you have a very, let me use a peculiar skill set. Now you do HSC and compliance in a marine company. That's a very good story to build upon because you're not just doing HSC and compliance anywhere else. If you've had more experience in that marine company, so you've done more than a year or 2 years in that company, that's great. You can now decide from once you land to start looking for marine companies in Canada or in the US. So even if you're in a province where they don't do a lot of marine companies, there are not a lot of marine companies there. There are a few and far between. So if you're maybe in Alberta, where there are lots of oil and gas companies, there are also a few marine companies there as well. You might also find yourself in a province or in a state where they may not have marine companies there, but they might have tech companies that cater to marine companies. So they might have marine companies as their clients. So you see how now I've moved from a primary industry to a secondary industry where you have that experience in the marine company, or you reach out to people that are working in a tech space or a tech company that have marine company clients. Why is that important? You're spreading your net, but at the same time, you're being targeted. You're being very targeted with your outreach, who you should be reaching out to, who you should be talking to, before you now start sending out your resume to 100 or 200 people. So you look at your skill set and say, okay, I have HSC and compliance. Now with HSC, a lot of the certifications that you might have the NIBOSH certificate, which they use in the UK, but that might not be what they use in Canada, or that might not be what they use in the US or in maybe any other country. So you need to find out what certification do they need, and then for compliance, okay, what can I do in compliance that I can use right away while I'm trying to get a Canadian certification, and then I can now apply myself. So your first instance should not be to now start looking for an HSC officer role. Do you understand? So don't be in a hurry to look for, oh, you need to look for HSC. You know why? Because you do not yet have that country certification for you to be an HSC officer. That's where a lot of people get frustrated and then they get tired and they're like, I'm just applying and I'm not seeing anything. So look at your skill set. Look at your skill sets, what you have. I'm going to move away now from peculiar. I think I'm giving you something to think about. Look at your skill set and now decide what exactly can I take from my skill set and apply to either the industry I'm in, so like peculiar as in marine, either that industry or which other industry can I use those transferable skills. Grace here is a teacher and Grace is saying, oh, I think you would like to look for a new career. Guess what, Grace? There are instances where if you look at the stats in Canada, there is a need for teachers. So they call them early child education, so young and early child education. So you need to do that certification first before you can start teaching. But guess what? There are lots of centers, children centers, training centers where they need coordinators. So you're good with working with children, you're good with all of that, but you need to get their certification. You also need to get like safety certification, so you can do CPR, first aid, all of those things. So those are things you need to look at. So you might still be able to teach or get into the education aspect as an administrative staff while you do your certification to get their early child learning certificate, and then you can teach. So you see how with each industry, there are different facets of pockets of industries that you can position yourself so you can get the highest return on investment where people start to reach out to you. And that's what I really want us to start looking at. Don't look at yourself and say, I was a bank manager before, I need to be a bank manager here. First, think about, how do they do banking here? Go online. You know what? The internet has democratized how we can find things. Go online and do as if you want to open an account with Bank of America or with Scotia Bank, and see what their process is like. You have to book an appointment. You cannot just walk in and open an account. You need to book an appointment with an account officer. What do branch managers do there? Apart from like those in the front facing, so tellers and all of that, what else do they do? So you see how their banking sector works, and then how can you fit yourself there? Is that the type of banking you want to do? Maybe the type of banking you were doing in Access Bank or GTB was totally, you have to go and look for accounts. They have those that do that, where they have their targets for is either you're doing investment banking or you're even doing insurance. So you're selling insurance products for the bank. Maybe the bank has those type of things. So, and then there's a key certification that they need in finance. It's called the CSC certificate. So it's Canadian Securities Certificate. It tells you everything about like their finance before you go and get a master's or a second degree or third degree in finance. At least certification first. They take certification more importantly than a master's, a PhD, and all of that. So these are some of the things you need to start thinking. If you're in this industry, how does that industry operate there first before you start sending out your resume? So you see how this conversation has moved from 2-page or 5-page resume to really, what do you do every day? Now take a pen and paper and look at what are the things that you do daily in your job. What are the things you do every day? Once you log in from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., what are the things that's required of you? What are the things that your boss looks at? If you just did your performance review, what were the things you were graded on? What were those things? And then now you can see, where did you make the most impact? In every business, you're either saving the company money, making the company money, improving processes. So if you're not doing any of those 3 things, I'm sorry, then you cannot really show the impact of what you've been doing in that company to another person in a new country. So you have to show those 3 things. You're either making the company money, you're either saving the company money, or you're either improving processes. So improving processes could be, you were a manager, let's say you were a branch manager, and the process to be able to withdraw your somebody works in between, the time in between when somebody walks in to withdraw funds and then fill out the paperwork, you're able to shorten that time from 30 minutes to 1 hour to a 15-minute transaction. What were the processes you put in place? Were they agile techniques? Were they Scrum? Do you have like Scrum techniques that you use? What were the processes that you put in place? Write that down. These are the things that you are now going to use to edit your resume. So it's not, I manage a team of 100 people. I brought in accounts for 50 people. So are you a teller or are you a manager, or do you see how once you can break down what they do every day in that industry and then what you do every day, then you can find that middle ground. Then it's easy for you to tweak your resume instead of tweaking it blindly. If you currently have I'll give you another tip. If you currently have a job description, a title, your title in Nigeria is executive or manager, or there's a particular role, go to LinkedIn, type that title and look for somebody that has that title in that country you're going to. So then put in the country and look at their job description, what they're doing, and then compare it to what you do every day. So then you can now decide, how am I preparing for my career as I relocate? Do I still want to do this? Do I still want to be a branch manager? Maybe I need to start looking into other aspects. Okay, maybe now I want to start looking into IT in banking. What do they do in terms of IT in banking? Okay, so we have different divisions that do the app, the mobile app, the banking app, cybersecurity and all of that, AML and forensics. We have people that do all that. Okay, where is it the easier jump for me? Remember we said that there are different buckets to move from unemployed to underemployed to employed. Where would it be the easier way for me to jump from what I'm doing now as the manager in banking to move into IT in banking? What skill set, what certification, what else do I need that can show that it's easier for me to show those transferable skills? That's what you need to be looking at. And then finally, I will wrap this talking session with you by really asking yourself the cultural differences. So understanding the cultural nuances, and that would really come to how you respond to emails, how you follow up on people. We talk a lot in Africa, so people are very easy. They will rather give you their phone number. Okay, give me a call. Here, they'll rather give you their email, or even before they give you their email, they might even give you just their LinkedIn. They won't give you their email. And even if somebody gives you their phone number, that still doesn't give you access. So you have to send a text. Is this the right time to call before you call the person? So all those things, some of those things are just some of the things that just throw people off from getting that second opportunity to get an interview or to talk to somebody, just because of those little things. And then secondly, the issue about how black are you, like identifying your blackness. If you've been born in a country where there are over 200 million black people, you've never one day questioned your blackness, or nobody has ever looked at you that, oh, you're dark or you're black. That is a reality that you also have to deal with in the workplace, where you open your mouth to speak to somebody and someone is surprised that you can speak good English. Sometimes it comes from a place of ignorance. It's not like the person is being racist, like they're just ignorant, that they don't know that English is the first language in Nigeria or in other countries. So you have to prepare your mind. And why am I bringing this up? Because in the context of when you start meeting people, or when you start sending out your resumes, or booking meetings or interviews, you have to give context with the skills, what you've done. So I'll give you an example. If you say you worked with a marketing company or as a research assistant in an agency, marketing agency, here somebody can start a marketing agency in their bedroom and it's just that one person, and then maybe you report to that one person. They might not understand that you saying you work with a marketing agency is actually a big agency where your CEO was there, you had managers, and there were like 50 people or 25 people that you were working together on a team. When you say agency, this is what they have in mind. So you always have to give context. I work with an agency that managed marketing for, you mentioned one or two companies, a soda company. So maybe the soda company was Coca-Cola, or maybe a different soda company. So they understand, okay, soda, okay. And then a marketing agency with over 20 employees, and I was managing a team of 4 people. So you've given them context. So now that's commensurate with what you're putting in on your resume, and they can say, okay, you have that experience. So these are some of the cultural differences that come into play that I really want you to think about and prepare. Everybody will tell you, once you come, you have to get the job or just get something going. But is that jump from getting something going to getting into your field? These are the things you have to look out for. And then you need to plan for. So that's the wrap of how to plan for your career as you relocate. And now I want to take your questions. I want to be able to answer questions for you. So does anybody wants to go first? Anybody wants to go first and ask questions? Just type in your questions in the chat so it will be easy, and so that everybody can hear. Depending on where you are, if it's noisy, just type in your questions and I'll read them out and answer the questions. So who is ready with their questions? Remember, we still have another section. So after the questions, we're going to do a demo, and then I'll show you, I would review your LinkedIn profile.
Okay, I think I'll.
Okay.
Who would like to go first? Hello.
You sound a little faint, Bisola. Okay, yeah.
Okay, so can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
So my question is about personal branding.
Yeah.
What if can you start branding yourself right here from Nigeria so as to target the people over there? Will it make your journey easier?
Oh yes, that is a wonderful question. And that's actually a huge part of what we do at Visible at Work. Because your personal brand tells of the whole story. We now live in the world of show and tell, not just talking about it, but you have to show what you've done. So yes, personal branding plays a big role, a huge role in really connecting with um, where you're going to, and it's not too late to start. In fact, this is the best time to start, especially once you've had your ITA. So it's almost legit that you're coming. This is the time to start instead of waiting once you land. Because guess what? Once you land, if you're able to get a place, if you're not staying with a family member, you first have to convince the landlord that okay, you're going to pay the rent, then you get the place, and then you're paying rent monthly. So before you even get that opportunity or that next job, the next rent is due. And then by the time you convert your naira to dollar, then you're almost running out of money. And then that also eats into the pressure. And then you cannot just call up family members back home to gist or talk because of the time difference as well. So you setting that relationship ahead of time gives you a chance to not be under so much pressure, because now you're setting up conversations, you're talking to people before you arrive. But you have to bring out that message or plan that message in the sense that I'm coming very soon. I'm looking to connect with people. I'm actually moving, especially if you already have a province in mind. You might change your mind. You might not go to that province, but start connecting with people within that province and start having those conversations. And then also, when people say personal brand, it's not by going to take pictures. And that's where you see the cultural difference. If you look at the way people use LinkedIn in Nigeria and the way people use LinkedIn in North America, it is so different. Now in Nigeria, I'm not, trying to call shots on anybody, but like in Nigeria, you do like, especially on your birthday, you do like a branded photo shoot, hair on fleek, your suit, everything. You have like a stylist, everything, and then you write one serious quote saying, I'm happy to present to you. I now have my certification, or I now, you don't build relationships like that. Here, it is incremental. So one, getting your LinkedIn ready to tell a story of the skill sets that you have, the skill sets that you bring, and what you're looking to tap into. And then the second part would also be building thought leadership on LinkedIn. So preparing before you land. That's how you start to build that personal brand. It's not by posting pictures. It's not by posting quotes. It's really posting things, thought leadership, things in your industry that have to do with your skill set. So have you ever read a book or read a post from somebody and you're like this person is so intelligent, or wow, I wish I could meet this person? Has it ever happened to you? Please type yes. If you've read something anywhere and you don't know the person, like you've never met the person, but you just like that person, or you feel a connection to that person. Have you ever read? I have. Okay, yes. Imaginary besties, yes. So that's the same thing that you're trying to do when you start building a personal brand. And if you're in any industry, can anybody type your name now and find anything about you? Type yes or no. If you're in is there a place on the internet where everything, like not everything you've done in your whole career, but showing the different projects you've done? Do you have anything like that? Yes or no? No. Okay. Thank you for your honesty. You know why? I'll bring you back to the cultural nuances. So talking about cultural nuances, if you want to do a nice hair or you want to get lace wig, what do you do? What do we usually do? Like in Nigeria, what do we do? You want to switch up your hair, what do you do? I don't want to preempt. I want us to, because I really want this to be interactive. I know there's still a question. I'm coming back after this person, but I'll come back to a question. What do we do? Search on Instagram, yes. Okay, check Instagram. Anything else? What do you do? Maybe there's this new hairstyle, you want to try it out. Okay, go to read reviews, yes. Ask for referral, okay, yes. So you pick up the phone, you call somebody, maybe your sister-in-law, someone that is your friend. I've been seeing this packing gel or this hairstyle, or I want to do Ghana weaving, but I don't want the one that will cut my front hair. I want to do Ghana weaving that will not cut my front. Please, who do you know that can do Ghana weaving that will not cut my front hair? Do we send messages like that? Ask your friends, check your IG. So now imagine you just moved here. You don't have anybody, like nobody knows you in Canada. And then you are now saying that you are a project manager. How will I know that you're a project manager, please? And I'm supposed to call your office back home to ask if you're a good project manager or not. If you are lucky, that's if they pick the call, if they pick the phone. Or if you don't have a good relationship with the person that is on the front desk, you don't know who will pick the phone. Or that's if they're even going to call at all. So now if we can search on IG, ask for referrals, call friends when it comes to our own self-care, beauty, fashion, anything else, how much more somebody that is going to be on payroll, somebody that is going to get their that they're going to recruit you for a job, like back home, because labor is cheap, people do, like, sometimes you can spend a year or two on a job, move to another job, especially maybe issues of harassment, workplace safety, so many things, some things against your value. So you find out that a lot of people change jobs more frequently, or maybe you're not even moving up faster, so you change jobs more frequently. Here, a lot of people, they expect you to grow with the company at least 5 years. Yes, it doesn't mean that you won't move if you have your own plans to move later. That's your own personal, in your mind. You don't have to tell them. But what I'm saying is, so they'll take that time to really get to want to know more about you and your skill set, and be sure that it's a right fit, like this, like right fit, before they get you into the company. So now imagine you reading reviews, asking referral, asking that. So where would they read reviews about what you've done or see what you've done? Where's the visual representation of what you've done? You don't have that. Where's the reviews? You don't have that. Where is the friend or somebody that can speak on your behalf in Canada? Because they're not going to call Nigeria to find out. They would not. Who is going to speak on your behalf? Who is going to champion on your behalf? You don't have that. So how do you start building that? This is the time. This is the time to start building that and sharing your interest. So this is what I really like to do. This is where I'm looking at. These are the areas I'm looking at. Start building that relationship. Then by the time you now come, they will even be the one asking, like, okay, were you thinking about looking for a job? Then you can answer, say, oh yes, I'm actually looking to. So now you've talked about you're looking for a job, but you didn't say, please help me, I'm looking for a job. You see how the language, everything changes with the cultural differences. So that's why personal branding is very important. It's the whole package: resume, personal brand, your LinkedIn, your career portfolio, what to look out for, showing a visual representation of the projects you've done. That's all that combines to show. And then strategy, and of course prayers. That's all that combines to show this is the skill set you have and this is where you want to work. So yes, so now let me jump into questions. So let's go back. Okay, so as a self-employed lawyer, how can I brand or rebrand myself in order to get job opportunities after relocation, since the profession is a licensed one? Secondly, how can I transition from being a legal practitioner to a social worker in Canada? Oh my God, Glory, this is a beautiful question. So you are a self-employed lawyer. Now you want to start getting into, of course, licensing. Articling and licensing is a big one. I even have, I think it was Moyo got licensed in Canada at 23. We have a podcast. It's called Visible at Work podcast. If you type it on iTunes, Google Podcast, anything, you'll find it there. We just finished season 1. So I interviewed Moyo. She's Nigerian as well. And could you please mute your mic? And she talked about her story, her journey of recertifying. She also helps lawyers recertify. So that's about the certification aspect. You could check out that podcast and just listen. Now, social work is big, and there's a connection between a lot of people that I know that have become lawyers. It's either a personal experience. Could you please mute your mic, please? Thank you. So there's a connection with your being a lawyer, wanting justice, equity. That's why you got into law. There's always a personal story. If you dig deep, you have a personal story why you became a lawyer. Or maybe your parents wanted you to be a lawyer, but you entered and then you enjoyed it. So now you want to get into social work. You have to have a lot of empathy to get into social work. So that connection, how do you, now the personal brand is about building that story of being a lawyer and then transitioning into social work. So now you'll be sharing more about injustice, social injustice, and all over the world. Don't focus just on Nigeria, because now you're looking at moving. If you're just focusing on Nigeria, anybody that reads it cannot relate. Now we're doing 16 days against 16 days activism against domestic violence against women. So now you can talk about, like, each day for the next 16 days, you can talk about it. Social, and then the statistics that has to do with social workers handling cases that have to do with domestic violence, that has to do with violence against women, that have to do with, so that is how you make that connection with that personal story. And that's how you start building that story as well. What are the major social issues, impacts that is happening in Canada? Homelessness, the opioid crisis, so drug-related crisis. You don't call somebody homeless here, you say people dealing with homelessness. So now you start to read articles on that, and then you start to share your own perspective on that. That's how you transition. You are not announcing, I'm coming to Canada, or I'm moving to Canada, or that's not what you're doing. You're just talking about things that are interesting to you in terms of professional project, professionally. You're sharing about social work, you're sharing about. That's it. And then when you land, if anybody goes to check you, they can see this person shares really great ideas on social work, on this, on that. Or maybe there's a project in Nigeria that you worked on that has to do with social work. Document it. So that shows that you really have an interest moving into social work. And then while you're a social worker, you can now become, go do your recertification and still become a lawyer. So the problem a lot of people make is thinking it's too late or they're too old to really pursue that. Grace said, if you need to do certifications in your field because it's regulated, should you consider any survival job, or must it be in line with your profession? I'll tell you the truth. Honestly, you first have to discover yourself and do an audit of your skill sets to know, while I'm trying to recertify, what is the survival job that puts me closer to my profession, so that you are in the ecosystem of what they're doing right now. So if you're a teacher, like I mentioned, like if you're in an administrative position in a school, but you're getting ready to get your certification to become a teacher, you're in that ecosystem. You know when the government makes changes, you know when there are budget cuts, you know the curriculum, because you are in that ecosystem. And maybe by the time you finish, you find out maybe you don't even want to teach anymore. You fall in love with other aspects in the industry. So that's how you can get a survival job, in quotes, that has to do with your industry. So sometimes, like even for, you see some managers, you see manager roles, marketer, coordinator, there's so many roles within that ecosystem that you can plug yourself in, and then you can start doing that. Now there are some people where it is so highly regulated, you can't get into that ecosystem at the beginning, but you might do something else, but it might still be in that industry. So maybe now you're in a marine company, you're now working in a marine company where you're doing something totally different. Maybe it's customer service. but you know all those technical words that have to do with shipping, the pallets, everything that has to do with that industry. They will take you over somebody else that just has regular customer experience that doesn't know anything about the marine sector. So you see how, yes, it might be a survival job, but you are in that ecosystem. That's what you should look out for. And trust me, because of the cold and the winter and all, you might have 2 jobs. You may have 1 job, you might have 2 jobs, and you come back and you're tired. That's where people get stuck. Remember, I talked about the 3 buckets. So moving from the underemployed to getting employed, because you're working, so many jobs, or you're tired, you come back, you do night shifts, you don't even get to sleep, you just automatically give up, and then you wake up 8 years, 7 years after, and you're like, what happened to me? I would have just stayed in Nigeria. I had a good job. I had this, I had that. I'm sure you hear stories like that. That's what happened. So, but when you have a strategy in place and you have that accountability and support, it makes the journey faster and easier for you. Let me see another question. Considering business analysis. Oh yes, business analysis is definitely one of the hottest jobs in Canada. That's true. Hills and Tech, Bisola has the plug for that, for business analysis. And there are so many bankers that have gotten into business analysis because they manage a lot of projects that have to do with business analysis. But you have to be able to tell that story of business analysis, use the terms, use the language in your resume, and also when you start talking to people. So no, you're not just saying banking. You're using the business analysis language. If you need to do certifications in your field because it's regular, okay, yeah, I think I've done that question. What are the prospects of the project management career in Canada? I'm trying to make a decision within project management and business analysis. Honestly, a lot of them are intertwined. Even for business analysis, they will ask that they will even look, they will rather have somebody that has a PMA certification, PMP certification. So you start to talk to people in business analysis and project management. And I know when I tell people start to talk to people, they only look for Nigerians to talk to. Some Nigerians, yes, they just came. Some Nigerians grew up here. That the person is Nigerian or that the person is Black doesn't mean that they will always have your best interest at heart. Open up your mind and don't allow bias to stop you from reaching out to different people. And then also when you reach out, don't ask for somebody to be your mentor. That's the wrongest move you can make, asking someone to be your mentor. Everybody is busy, but ask one question, and then when they tell you what to do, come back and report what you've done with what they told you, and just update them. So that's how you can build that relationship. So you're not asking for a job, you're just asking, and then don't ask someone to help you make a decision about a life, like a life-changing decision. That's like too much of a burden to give somebody to ask you. They want to, okay, so is this or that? Not, okay, project business, and they will just freak out here. That's how they think. That's the cultural differences I'm talking about. So you first do your breakdown that you see a lot of similarities in PMP and BA, and you really want to pursue something in that line. Then you also look at, like I said, what do you do every day at work right now? And then you compare what does a BA do, what does a PMP do, and then you can look and see which one is most similar. Business analysis training for Canada relocation. Is it possible to get a job offer while in Nigeria? It's not impossible. How quick do they get entry-level jobs on arrival? It's not impossible. Like I said, remember the quote I started with, people lean on personal relationships. Here, they value personal relationships more than anything. Like somebody inside the company will be vouching for you, saying, I met this person, I spoke with this person. Wow, I need to have this person on my team. That's what you need to start doing to attract getting a position as fast as possible when you come. What's the reality of applying for a PM role in Canada? What's the reality? Oh yes, there are some product management. Oh, Simi, yes, there are product management roles. They want to see that you have launched. Have you shipped product? Have you launched product from start to finish, from inception finish? There are also so many product management groups. Then there are also different aspects of product management. So are you a technical product manager, or are you a product marketing manager? So PMM, you're not just product management. So what aspects? And then do you have a GitHub URL link? Do you have your portfolio ready? Do you have all those things? What projects have you worked on? And then what was the use case? What was the objective? How do you build? Have you built a use case before? What does that look like? Do you have that ready? These are the things that I'm saying. You see all these things we're talking. Resume is not even on top of the list. So those are the things you need to. Thank you. This is such a question about mentorship. You're welcome. Please, what are the prospects of starting a bakery business in Canada? Because I'm thinking of applying for a baking and pastry art school in Canada, because I've gone far with my business here. Eniola, thank you for that question. You are never too far gone to make a detour. Life is too short to just box yourself in and say, this is what I want to do. You know why I'm saying so? There are endless opportunities when it comes to baking and pastry. You see, like in Nigeria, where you have your own pastry shop, you bake, you have cakes, you do all of that. Here, there's a culture of eating out, so there are lots of restaurants. So you might even end up, after doing a pastry school, and all, you might end up working in a restaurant, in a hotel, in a school, where you do all of that. You might be on the back end, just in the kitchen baking. If that's what you love, baking and doing your pastry and doing all of that, if that's what you love, then go for it, fine. If you like to interact with customers, yes, you do the baking, but you want to have your own place, it takes some time. So one, if you want to start your business, of course, when you come, you have zero credit history. So no bank will want to even give you any loan first. You have to build that credit history first. So it is getting that job, like I said, in that ecosystem. If you want to get into pastry and baking, then you get into something where they do baking and pastry making. And then you can now start your own. But you also know a lot of companies, you might sign you might not like conflict of interest. So if you're working in a pastry shop, you cannot do your own baking and pastry at home and then now have your own Instagram handle selling baking and pastry. That might cost you something. So those are the labor laws in place. So you might have to find out, like it's mostly the bigger chains that do that, but you also have to find out. So, but if you're getting like a regular office job and then you're doing your pastry and baking, you see how you're still fulfilling your love for baking, and then you have your regular job. Then later, while you're doing that, you get all the certification, and then you start your own baking and pastry. Okay. Okay, so looking to switch into tech product management role in Canada, what's the best way to switch? So if you check my Instagram, I did a post. My Instagram is my name, first and last name, Tracy Oyekomi. I did a post of career strategy. So it's either you're moving from one industry, new title, same industry, new title, different industry, new title, new industry. So like from HSC compliance straight to product, that is totally new, and it's like from one end of the end to the other. Like I said, what can move you faster in each bucket? That's what you should be looking out for. It's not impossible. It's just that you need to know what product you have to have shipped the product. So like I mentioned, is it technical? Is it a technical PM role you're looking for? If it's a technical role, what coding skills do you have? What technical products have you shipped? Even if it's to take an existing business in Nigeria, and then work on their product with them, you can do that while you're doing your 9 to 5. Then you have more insight into what a PM role is about. So that's how you prepare yourself. So now let's go into okay, Sim said you worked on dummy projects. Great, but you have to have a place where you can show what you did. What did you do with the project? What was your thinking? Who were what was the user persona for those projects? You have to show your thinking in what you've done. And then where do you share about it? Do you talk about it? Is there anywhere that people know that you are an aspiring product manager? So that's it. Like I mentioned, an opportunity to also have a personalized strategy. See how I've taken the time to really look at your work, but this is just the tip of the iceberg on looking at what skill sets you have, building your personal brand, getting all your career materials ready, and planning ahead. This is just the tip of the iceberg. If you want a personalized strategy with me, we usually have a 3-day workshop. I will share my screen now, and if you can see it, let me know. Let me share my screen so I can show you.
The thing downloaded, now I can't find it.
So this is a personalized strategy to move you from being overwhelmed. Like all these things I've said, yes, you have the insight, now you're ready to know what to do, but at the same time, it can also feel overwhelming. So if you're ready to move from being overwhelmed to being fulfilled, you have to now start planning to reinvent your career abroad. From being underemployed to being employed, you want to move to have a solid career portfolio to show your work. So in this uh, workshop, we usually have 3 days. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you have already recorded content that are put there and exercises, workshops that you do. And then for each day, so Friday evening, we have a session, a live session like this. I'll take the time to go over your work. Saturday, same thing. And then Sunday as well. We'll optimize your LinkedIn profile and we'll build your career portfolio from scratch without any line of code. These are the things that you do. So when you start speaking to people and they say, okay, show me what you've done, or okay, so why should I support you, or what's the plan, or what's the goal? You have something to show. So that's what we do at Visible at Work. We have a Black Friday pricing going on now. You can reach out to Bisola. She will send you the link on how you can join. It's $100 off the cover price. And then even if you don't join this month's class, you can join the December class, but you need to get at the cover price right now. So if you have any questions about that, I'll be available to answer. Now I need somebody to volunteer their LinkedIn profile. Let me look at your profile and then we'll talk about what you need to look out for. Who wants to go first? Okay, Simi, that was quick. Please mute your mics, please. Kindly mute your mics. Please mute your mics. I'm going to take Simi's profile. We're going to look at it together. I will share my screen and then we'll go over Simi's. Let me try again. Please mute your mics. Everybody, please mute your mics. Thank you. Okay, so get your LinkedIn ready. Get your LinkedIn ready so I can go over that and okay, so I will just give you an overview of what you should look at. I have another profile here, Maria. Yes. Okay, so I'm just waiting for it to load up and then I will share my screen. Okay. So I'm just waiting for it to load up. Yes, perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay. All right, so we're going to jump right in now. And I think, and the beautiful thing is the two profiles that I have here, they're very beautiful profiles, stand-up profiles, which is great to see that everybody is really making plans. So for Simi, let me, all right, so let me see, I'm just trying to open up my screen. I will come back to technology has its days. Okay, so let me share my screen now. Okay, so I think we already have 3 profiles, so we're going to take just three profiles because we've already spent an hour. Let me know once you can see my screen.
Yes, I can see it.
Okay. So yeah, so Simi, your profile is great. You do not have a banner image, so that's one. Your profile picture, you need to change that. You don't have to be fully made up, but you're not looking at the camera, you're looking off, and it's like you just quickly did the selfie and put that there. And so for your image, I see product manager. So is it product manager 2, or you just wanted to do the slash sign and then write passionate about building products?
I just wanted to do the slash sign.
Yeah, don't worry. Just take the feedback. Let me finish. Okay. So you can take out. You have 2 slash signs there. And then also try to make sure you avoid buzzwords. Astute, expert, experienced. A lot of people use those words, so it's very common. So just go straight to the point. Product manager, and then there's a format to write your about section. So product manager, and then what did you do? What's your street credibility? Product support in what kind of market are they in? How many users? Those are the numbers that they want to see. So you have to have that street credibility on your about. So just saying you do research, those are keywords, yes, correct. Time tracking, all of those things. What exactly? Relevant experience acquired through coursework. So now you say Astute. Astute shows you have great experience, and then now you're talking coursework. So if I'm a recruiter, like, is this person experienced or not? So you see how use of words, but at least there's a lot of product on your profile, which is great. So here, perfect. So product support lead, daily cold calls to increase sales leads. So yes, so we're talking about product support. Are you in sales? That's not what product managers do. They don't increase sales leads. Maybe they reach out to customers for research. So there's a way you can still put those sales leads, but you put that down, and then you just give a brief overview of what you do. You know why? Most people repeat what is exactly on their resume, and then they just put it here, and then they come back and they do that. So, but there's a flow of product and then project, which is good, very good, very, very good. Well done. So now on to the next. I have Maria's profile. Oh, this is beautiful, Maria. Love the banner, but it doesn't have any content or anything on what you do. If it's media, you can either use like a desktop banner like this, or maybe something about media to show that you are involved in media, media buying, open to work. Personally, I don't really like using this open to work. But with everything that has happened now with the pandemic, a lot of people are open to work. So now recruiters don't shame people for looking for work because they know a lot of companies laid off people are looking for work, which is good. So you can either decide to keep it, but even if a recruiter comes in, they can see if you don't use the open to work banner, but they can see here, only recruiters can, if you use your, like you put what you are looking for, they can see what type of roles you're looking for. So marketing, social media planner, media buyer, business analyst roles. So this is a broad spectrum from marketing to business analyst. A great way that Maria, you can get more insight to company because of your marketing background and media buying background. You can put here, say, remove the experience. If you're going to say experience, you have to back it up with street credibility. So what's the street cred? Media buyer of 500 media buyer worth 500 million or 50 million dollars for 17 agencies, or for, those are the kind of street cred you need to see, or 10 years experience media buying for marketing companies. That's how you show your street credibility. Yes, master's degree for sure. Secure full-time, develop analytical skills. Okay, so to develop not just analytical, but since you said business analysis, so you write business, looking to secure a full-time position to further develop my business analysis skills in the media space. Because you have a media buying experience, you are more likely to even get a call or message or in-message because you have that media space. Maybe, yes, that's not your first option, but you rather start having those conversations than waiting to do that. During the course of my career, I once twice led marketing sub-team. Okay, won company quarter competitions twice. What was the sub-team? Okay, you led a team of how many people? What's the context? Quarter competitions twice. Okay. Plan and implement new social media strategy, online engagements in 6 months. What was the strategy? So was it a new strategy on Instagram, social media? Okay, so that's broad. You tripled online search. So was it from 0 to 5,000? 2 million engagements. You see some 2 million engagements on Twitter. So those are the things. If you really want to list out all this, you know why that's what they are looking for. If it's research for a role, you're not just building your personal brand. Now you're trying to get a role. Those are the type of street cred you need to start writing. Then here, instead of saying skilled in Microsoft, you write specialties. Microsoft Office should not be the first thing. You know why? It's basic. Like my nephew that is in grade 8, like he's an 8th grader or 6th grader, he can use Microsoft. They use Microsoft Office even before pandemic. That's what they use for school. So that should not be the first specialty. You can put that third or the last thing. You should be putting Google AdWords, Google Analytics, HubSpot, Hootsuite, Marketo, all those marketing tools. Write those specialties. Those are the tools. Then also social media strategy, graphic design, and then don't limit it to just graphic design. Especially for tech companies, they do like UX or UI design. Those are the type of design that they do. So that if you can design something for an app, if you can use Figma or SketchUp, perfect. Write it there. So that's how once they see those keywords, immediately it just jumps out. Okay. So featured section, let's see. So you see how this image, it's a beautiful, I believe it's a beautiful picture, but this is what a recruiter will see, or this is what they will see. They just see the waist and then your boss, they don't see your face. So you can either resize that image, that has to do with SEO. So maybe on the website where you shared it, or on your post. These are the words I used to define myself. So you've already written your about section. They already know about you, well, to an extent. What they really want to know about is your skill set. If you there's one of my podcast episodes I did, I think it was on career planning, and I was talking about how when you come in as an immigrant or an international foreign trained professional, you sell your skill sets first before you sell yourself. So what they want to see is the skill set, how you save the company money, how you made the company money, how you improved processes first, before you talk about yourself, the challenges you face and you've overcome. Those things will come into play in your cover letter. But here, your feature section is a great opportunity. Like when she mentioned graphic design, UI design, this is where you should put images to link out to your portfolio, showing different designs that she has done. Maria, that's what you should do here, okay? Resident safety representative, perfect. So they already know you are in New York. Let me even see your location. Okay, yes, Hampstead, New York, perfect. So they know you're in New York. They know you're in New York. Okay, resident hall. So what's the footfall of the guest? I'm sure you're seeing an average, maybe weekly, an average of 200 guests. You might not even know because people are going and coming and going and coming. For you to be able to talk constantly for hours, talking to people, you're seeing an average of 200 to 250 guests. So put that there. That shows that you have staying power. You can talk to people, presentation power. You have those presentation skills. Talk to people. Public safety office, violations of policy procedures, yes. Who are you informing? Informing public safety and resident safety office. Okay, provide appropriate assistance to students or staff. How many students? What's the staff number and student number strength in that school? Maybe there are over 5,000 students, or maybe there are over 6,000 staff. So what kind of assistance are used? Safety assistance, or what type of assistance? Health and safety, something like that. Media safety. And of course, with your media background, maybe you're doing something that has to do with safety and media. Put that there. Lifestyle agency. Okay, 3 months intern. Perfect. So, and the internship was in New York. Perfect. And then, yes, Nigerian advertising service. So all the things you did in Nigeria. So media buying, you really have that media buying experience. This is good. Yes, okay. So I'm happy you have your analytics, you have your certifications. So now for skills and endorsements, you only have 10 skills. LinkedIn allows you to do 55 skills, either 50 or 55 here. So what you should do, the keywords and skills that business analysts and media buying do, media planning, project PMP planning, doing a project plan and project management, because you need that in media buying. Those are the skills you should put there. Those are the skills that the recruiter will be looking for. So you need to update your skill section. You have 50 that you can put. Then endorsement, don't wait for people to give you endorsements, you give out endorsements. So the endorsements you have from a lot of people in Nigeria, where you did your internship in New York. Try and get an endorsement from that person or recommendation from whoever you work with. Give a recommendation before you ask. So give a recommendation that you love a recommendation from. You remember a project that you worked on and you would love a recommendation. Like you remember a project you worked on together, give a recommendation to somebody, and then after you send them a short email thanking them. You remember the project you worked on together, and you would appreciate if they can give you a recommendation. And then give 2 or 3 bullet points on those projects. So because people are busy, they might not remember. They will just easily respond and then give you a recommendation as well. So at least you need to get a recommendation from what you're doing in New York. Okay. And the last one I'm going to be looking at is Miriam. Okay. So let's see, Miriam. Everybody on the call, I hope like you are. Let me see. Who else have I looked at? I think I've looked at everybody. So everybody on the call, I hope that you're taking notes. So yes, some of the things I'm saying might not apply to your own skill set, but please, 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 please go back. Even me, the other day, I think I spoke to somebody and then I went to look at my LinkedIn and said, no, I need to change something. Just so that it corroborates with the story, the narrative that I'm building for the opportunities I want to attract. That's what you should start doing. So don't wait until you land. Make those changes. Okay, so Miriam, before I come back to you, just a minute. I have one more profile I need to look at, and then I'll share my screen. Please, in the comment section, just type and let me know if this was helpful for your if this was helpful, like for your own LinkedIn, for your personal brand, to start thinking about what you want to do. Please type. Let me know what was the one takeaway that you've gotten from this demo session. Let me know what's your takeaway from it. Let me know if there's anything that you need to clarify, what you're learning from it. Okay, I think I have another. Okay, so yes, I have Oyindamola Akerile's profile here, and then we'll come to Miriam. I'm just waiting for it to open up. So I'm going to share my screen now, and then we'll talk about Oyinda's profile. Okay, Oyindamola Akirile, love your profile. You don't have a banner as well, so put a banner that has to do with so if it's marketing, if it's a city that you like, that you've been to, or like for what I always say, like for people that are just landing, so maybe you've finally landed, you're in Calgary, maybe the skyline of Calgary, you put the banner there, and then of course you change your location. So Yinda, it's a nice picture, but we don't get to see more of your face. We see more of your top. You can zoom in. When you drop your image, you can always zoom in with LinkedIn. So let's see. You are very interested in helping creatives and artists sell their content on digital stores. I'm very helpful to them as an aggregator and to be a liaison between artists and digital stores. They might be interested in getting their content on. I'm a fashion expert that can help people solve their fabric needs, put together outfits, whatever. Okay, so I guess you have two careers, where fashion and then music or entertainment. So head of operations, it already shows here that you're with continued entertainment, so you don't need to put head of operations and continued entertainment. Stylist and entrepreneur. So you don't need to put the entrepreneur if you're building your personal brand, like as an entrepreneur, so you're not looking for a job, because there are a lot of people now that are using LinkedIn to build their personal brands for a business. Like my own LinkedIn is tailored towards my business and not much of my career, but I have two sections, so I understand Oyinda's profile. But what you can do, remove the entrepreneur, seasoned stylist. The keywords, when anybody's looking for a fashion stylist, they will not look for seasoned stylist. They will type fashion stylist. So put fashion stylist. Then you can remove founder of Hoida's Place. I believe that's the name of your fashion styling. Put fashion stylist. So you can put fashion stylist at Hoida's Place, or just put fashion stylist and fabric connoisseur or fabric merchant or fabric fabric sourcer. There's a role called fabric sourcing. If you type in merchandising, like Fashion School of New York, there are people that actually do fabric sourcing. So like for all the tops and shirts, when you walk into a store, you see different colors of all those shirts and all. People have jobs that they do fabric sourcing. So you can put fabric sourcing and then fashion stylist, then head of operations. So like I said, remove the continued entertainment. So here, people want to know about you, your skill set. So you're saying you're very interested. This is a tautology. You don't have to use very interested. Interested shows that that's what you really like. So just put you're interested in helping creatives. So you are the head of operations. So that means what you do is helping creative and artists sell their content online or on digital stores. Or you could just say helping creatives and artists sell their content. So content should not be pluralized. Content, that's the English in me. So sell their content digitally. Sell their content digitally. So digitally, it could be, if it's music, on Spotify. If it's creatives, it could be on Instagram, and also digitally. And then this, then you can put as head of operations, the liaison between the artist and the stores, connecting the artist to the stores, or taking care of all the operational activities between the artist and the content providers or the content platforms. So content platforms, you already mentioned, is going to be digital. So content platform, that's what you do. And you don't have to put they might be. So that means maybe or not maybe. Might is a tentative like it's a tentative word. So take that out. People want to have that confidence when they read about it. Wow, I can trust this person with my work. And then of course you give that gap. And then, as a fashion expert or as a fabric stylist, I help, with their fabric needs. You help people. What type of people? Is it an industry? So like if you look at the denim sector now, people just focus on denim. And that's the thing about North America here. You have to drill down and really narrow your focus. When you narrow your focus, you attract more people to you. When you say, I can do anything, especially in Nigeria, because you do everything, like your role, you do so many things that can fly back home. In North America, the more narrow and focused you are, the easier it is for them to identify you for opportunities. Okay. You don't have to say, I am Oyinda Mola, this is what I do. Your name is already there. What you should put here is your skills or specialties. So fabric sourcing. So like I said, all those keywords that have to do with fashion. So the first one, operations management, all the different things that have to do with operations. If you have any certification in operation, you put that. And then the second part will be fashion. So fashion for fashion, then you use bullet points or you use icons or emojis like with the arrow and just put that. Okay, continue. Yeah, music distribution aggregation company. That's good. So you let people know. So as head of operations, responsible for content acquisition, collecting administrative. So are you administrative or so administrative task? You don't have to say collecting administrative. So administrative handling of content from content providers, and then monitoring. And so instead of just saying you're sending the links for the uploaded content to specific owners, you say you monitor or you gather and distribute, or you monitor the distribution of uploaded content to content creators. Of course, the owners, so it'll be the content creators, the creatives, and the musicians. Responsible for monitoring, like their, like when you're in marketing, you monitor like the growth, downloads, all those things. There's so many things you do apart from just sending links. So rephrase that. So response for social media posts. So is this social media management? So you see now there's a cross, like I said, in Nigeria, you're doing a lot of things, but your profile is like your mini website telling people where you are heading, not just what you are doing now, but where are you heading. So here you might use these points in your resume, but here you should give an overview of what you do as the head of operations. Go and find out what operations people do in the music industry. Go and check A&E. So A&E, that's like for expansion, like an advert. If you watch Empire, you see how they talk about the music business, A&R, and all those things. So find out like what head of operations, what they do, and then you put that here. So as head of operations, you're in charge of the content acquisition, information gathering, and distribution of links, growth for listening, downloads, and all of that for the content creators. Manage the relationship between content creators and the content buyers or content providers. Then Hoidas Place. So fabric and styling brand. So we catered for your fabric needs. So you can change that, like I said, you change that. It already shows here that you're located in Lagos. So take out located in Lagos. Events coordinator, event management and coordination. So what type of events? So if it's event, is it wedding events? Is it lifestyle events? Is it corporate events? If it's a combination of that, then mention it there. So responsible for clients bringing their imagination and events to future. So you understand, like I always say, context plays a big key. So Yinda, I think I've been able to cover most. So skills again, 50 skills. Please make use of that. And then recommendations you have for, which is great. So if you're looking at moving abroad, just clean it up a little bit, all those things that you're doing. And is it operations that you still want to continue when you move abroad? If it's not operations, it doesn't matter. Just at least clean it up so they know that you have the grasp to be able to manage operations truly. And then anybody can want to give you a chance to do other things. So the last profile, let me see. I think it's who else? I think it was Miriam. Yes, somebody else just dropped their profile. Honestly, if you want really hands-on feedback and personalized feedback, you need to join the workshop. Bisola is going to share the link with you. You need to join the workshop. We have the classes. It's going to be every month. I know with the time difference. So what I've based on feedback that we've gotten from clients, we're going to make it into 2 groups. So for those that have not yet moved, so that it can fit like UK time, Nigerian time, and then those that are already here. So it can also fit into their time. So you have nothing to worry about. 3 days with me. So this is just a little bit, just showing you a little bit of what I can do with you, and then also crafting your story. When anybody asks you, tell me about yourself, it's not until in an interview. You know why? Because you're always looking for opportunities. You might not have the chance to even sit in an interview yet. When you meet somebody and you tell them who you are, that's your interview. That's your first stage interview. And then they can now decide, okay, I think I need to talk to my HR manager. We're actually recruiting for an opening. Is that something that you're thinking about? That's the interview. So most people will wait until, okay, I've sent my resume, then I get the interview. No, it is when you're talking, introducing yourself, telling your story, building that narrative of, okay, I was a lawyer. But instead of saying I was a lawyer, you're starting your story with, I've always been interested in social work. I see the needs and then the injustice that a lot of people face, especially with the opioid crisis and the homelessness situation. And that's why I've been interested in social work. I was at a point in my life personally where we needed social assistance, and I know how that feels. And then you talk
I will give you.
about, and that's part of why what really made me train as a lawyer. You see how I did the connection for the person who is
Where
a
is
lawyer
the
and
daddy?
social work.
Where
So
is the
you have
daddy?
to have that story ready. Please mute your mic.
Where is it?
Please mute your mic. You're inconveniencing almost everybody, please.
Hi there, Peculiar.
Thank
Could you
you.
please mute?
So I think that we're clear. Okay, so Miriam, yeah. Ibinabo. Okay, so I think somebody else dropped. Yeah, so that's the last one we're going to look at. After Miriam's, we'll look at Ibinabo. Miriam, your profile tells me that you just joined LinkedIn. At least you are here. So better late than never. And I'm happy that you joined. And yes, you have 2 connections. So now what you shouldn't even bother yourself about. Just make sure you fill everything in and then start connecting with people. Old classmates, different connections, send personalized connections. Hi, we went to school together. Just wanted to connect with you. Have a great day. That's it. Don't ask for a job. Don't ask for anything. So that you can build your connection and they can see that you're a real person. Because a lot of people now have started scamming and creating fake profiles, just like people create fake Instagram. So that's the first thing you need to do. Oh, and I like that you wrote early childhood. You're in the spirit, Miriam. So you've already written early child educator, so that they know that you are you're really interested. So what you need to do now is, instead of saying HOD pre-primary school, change this and write all the things that an early child educator does. Nobody cares if you are HOD, head of department. They don't care here about title. Like the person you might be sitting on with in the train might be CEO of a company and you don't even know. Wow, we have spent over an hour, so I need to wrap it up so that you can go about your day. I have the evening class for those that are in the workshop today. So Miriam, focus on connecting with people that already know you so you can build that. If you usually wear a hijab, like this is how I see you on a normal day, this is what you wear, then that's great. Stick to your hijab picture. If you don't wear hijab every day, like sometimes you take it off and maybe it's just a head wrap, because I know like some ladies do like the head wrap and not the full hijab. I have a friend that is that she has just she wears like a turban and then she wear that with her shirt. You see her shirt and all, but she wears a turban. If you normally wear a turban sometimes, then take a picture with just the turban and a shirt, like collared shirt, but all buttoned up. You don't have to show anything. But if this is how you always wear the full hijab, then that's fine. Then so I've always found working with children fascinating. Hence, so yes, it's fascinating, but do you have the certification to back it up? So you have a degree working with children, or you've been working with children for 10 years or 5 years, managing over 200 children as the head of department for a primary school of over 5,000 children. That's what you should put. That's your street credibility. So put that in your about section, because they don't want to just say, this one just loves children, but how am I sure that she's really qualified? So that's what you need to focus on. And then start meeting, like connecting with people that know you, because it's a lot easier connecting with people that know you first before you now start reaching out to people that don't know you. So HOD, is that the name of the school? HOD pre-primary? If okay, Hafiz private school. So the name should be Hafiz. Okay. Oh, your title is HOD pre-primary school. So please change that. So is it kindergarten or preschool leader or preschool manager or preschool administrative manager? That's what you should put there. Okay, and this is the Lagos State government logo. Do you have a certification? I know they did some programs for teachers. So if you have that, you should also put that there in your certification. And then your skills and education. So you need to just make sure you fill all the parts first. And I always tell people, don't do it in one sitting. Break it into parts and then do it. So I think I have one more person, and that will be it. Ibinabo, and we're done. Please leave me I would love, after spending all this time talking to everybody, what I want from you is to take a picture of this, take a screenshot of this session. Let me smile. Take a screenshot of this session and tag me on Instagram, Tracy Oyekomi. You will see me there. Tag me and just say one takeaway that you got, and I will reply. I always reply to my DMs. Tell me one thing you gained from the session, how it got you to start thinking about your plans. That you don't have to let anybody know you're relocating, but just what you gained from the session. If you don't want to share about your relocation, you understand. So and also, just leave a chat in the comments so we also know what you've gained from the session. And okay, so Ibinabo is my next person and final person for today, and we'll call it a day. And if you have a final words, questions, or anything, just put that down. If I can't answer it on this session, I'll answer it on my Instagram. I'm very active on Instagram. Ibinabo Michael, great. Love the picture. Still no banner as well. So you need to get that banner. So you see you see why recruiters get tired easily. A lot of people use experience. You can just say office and personal and office administrator, working with CCT executives or CEOs or SVPs, because I'm sure, especially with oil and gas and energy, then that means you're dealing with a lot of like here, like in Nigeria, they'll say managing director or director, chairman. Here is mostly vice president, VP, or CEO, COO. So you use that same language, and then you space it out. So everything is jumped into like so many sentences. So space it out. Administration coordination of oil and gas customer service. So focus on one first. So finish explaining what you do. Coordination of oil and gas. What are you doing in the oil and gas? How are you coordinating? What are you coordinating? Is it travel and arrangement? Is it conference booking? Is it administrative booking and all of that? And then customer service. Who are you reaching out to in terms of customer service? So reaching out to, is it the B2B client? So if you're doing upstream or downstream sector, you put context from the sector that you're working with. Upstream sector are those that deal with like the oil rigs and all of that. Downstream sector are like those that deal with like filling station and all of that. So those are the type of things you should put there, so they know that you know what you're talking about. So you wrote most people, I'm skilled in value-based competencies. That's not necessary. After explaining what you do, then you this value-build competencies can come in your skill set. So what are the strong skill sets that anybody needs? Attention to detail. If you're an administrative officer or a coordinator, you have to have attention to detail. Then I also see you have field office coordinator 3 on your profile, and then you're talking office and personal administrator. So are you still in the office or are you on the field? So you see how your about section must match where you are right now. So maybe you've been promoted and you forgot to change your about section, so you need to change it. Or maybe you're now back in the office and then you need to change this one to administrative coordinator 3. And then you now explain what you've done as an administrative coordinator. And then you also had a stint in field office work and what you were doing in field office. Okay, so yes, I like that you put currently transitioning to tech as a business analyst. So you don't have to put tech, except if you're looking for business analyst roles in tech. You can be a business analyst even in solar turbines. You can be a business analyst in any company. In fact, there are lots of companies like they do food, healthcare. They use business analysts. They need business analysts. So it doesn't always have to be tech. So you don't push yourself away from opportunities just because tech is the hottest thing right now. As a business analyst, you're supposed to solve problems, find problems, improve systems and processes. You can do that in any business, okay? Open to new global opportunities, gaining wider experience from taking on different responsibilities, adapting. This is a very long sentence. So experiencing a different culture. You can take that out, but you're currently transitioning to a business analyst role, currently working on projects, business analyst projects, and open immediately to business analyst roles. So you're currently transitioning to business analysis. That's mainly what you should focus on. And I see here you're talking about just finishing the course. So, excuse me. So that means you're doing a lot of courses that have to do with business analysis. So you can start sharing more about what you're learning, what you're doing. And so all these roles, you didn't write like an overview of what you're doing and what the company is about. Just 1 or 2 sentences. Administrative. So you've been doing so you have experienced a lot of administrative roles in manufacturing. So you should write the administrative support in manufacturing, oil and gas, energy sector. I can see here, yes, you wrote here, but really like bullet point those industries and then write here, transitioning into a business analyst role in such sectors. You know why? It will be easier for you to become a business analyst in those sectors or in those roles than just a tech company. So don't, just say, okay, yes, I just want tech. You can apply your skill set in a company. Same thing with your skills and endorsements. You have 50. Excel should not be the number 1 thing. If it's business analyst, what are the things that they use? VBA. Can you do VBA? Visual Basic. Can you do, those are the type of things you should put there that you can do, not Excel, not Office, not Teamwork. So yeah, so that's it for profile demo today. And I'm really happy that a lot of people were able to join. And at least it got you thinking. So before you start praying, oh, it's not my portion to be in a survival job. It's not my portion to stay on this path for this long. This is really what I want to do. I can't even believe I spent almost 2 hours. Wow. But I had such fun just sharing. And I hope that you can mentally prepare yourself more importantly than just coming, buying the winter clothes, buying everything and getting ready, but you're not mentally prepared for the work aspect. And that's what a lot of people usually face. So don't just focus on the cultural aspect, cultural difference, or the winter aspect of the weather, but for you to really focus on your goal for work, the mental aspect of getting ready to get that job, or getting ready to grow in that job, and what you need to do, the strategy you need to do. If you want personalized feedback from me, you want to work with me personally to build your personal brand, I work in two groups for people. So either you're planning to come, like you already have your IT, or you're already in that phase, you're planning to come, you've taken your exams, then I'm ready to work with you. If you're ready to work with me, 3 weeks. It's actually the 3-day session, and you have to have additional 3 sessions with me. So you're not just paying for the 3-day session, and then you have additional 3 sessions with me, and we'll do all of this, not just your LinkedIn, what types of content to write, what you should be looking out for, and building your career story. Remember, we talked about connecting that narrative, where you are and where you're going. So you're not just saying, "Oh, I need a job. I need a job. I want to do this job," but really connecting what you've done, because all the experience you have now is still useful. Don't just throw it away and say, "Well, because I'm moving to this industry, then it's not useful." It is useful, but you have to have a story to connect those dots. And that is what is most important. That's what will get you the interview. That's what will get you the opportunity. And then maybe possibly even get you a job offer from Nigeria. It's not impossible, but there are certain things you have to do. You have to follow up, how you follow up with people, the hacks to really show the impact that you're making in the business. And those are the things you really, really need to look out for. Then we can talk about your resume. So you see how everything plays, it's all connected. How I said referral seeking, when we want to do our hair, do all those things, and how they look out for you when they're also looking for referrals or things to show that you can do the job, beyond paper. Thank you, everybody. Yes, my Heels and Tech has dropped my Instagram handle. Let me see if I can just drop the link so you can just connect directly. Yes, so Tricia Ekomi, that's my IG handle. What advice would you give to someone who wishes to relocate to Canada as BA but do not really have office experience? I'm working on freelance sites. It's still experience. So you see, like I said, the industry here, it's about what have you done. Project is not by office. You see, like you see somebody is earning 30K wearing suit and going to work, and everybody's greeting in your area. How now? Welcome, and you go and come back. Here, every day is work, 7 days a week. You can be working on a field, like the people that even make a lot of money. You see all those people in construction, plumber, builders, carpenter, like all those roles where electrician, if they call codes for you. So like people in construction, I know there's a lot. So even if you've done a freelancer work, what project is it? A BA work that you've done? What kind of analysis have you done? You've done freelance work, but what was the project? What was the impact of the project on that business? How much did you save? How much did you make? What was the impact of the project? What type of BA work, like analysis, did you do on that project? How can you show your level of thinking? That's what they want to see. So it doesn't matter whether you've gone to office, you've done office work or not. You might even end up working in the field and not office work, and you get paid. So yeah, so Heels and Tech, they usually have BA classes. They will guide you on live projects, and you can use that as reference. Like I always say, so it's not about, oh, you had to be in a company, but they want to see how you think. That's really important. So please leave a review. I'll smile again. Take a picture. Another one. Thank you. So take a picture, post it, tag me. I will respond. Tell me one takeaway you got from today's session. I don't want to keep you here longer than you have. It's still morning here, so I still have a long day to go. But I really, really enjoyed the session. Heels and Tech has the link, direct link to get in on it, $100 off. And you can also pay by installments. If you check the link on my profile, it's $50 off, but Heels and Tech has her own coupon and it's $100 off to my session. And you have 3 additional sessions with me, apart from the 3-day workshop that you also have. Personalized feedback. We will work with you to really make sure that you're ready when you come. So this is just the tip of the. I'm telling you, I'm telling you, if you really want that personalized feedback, reach out to Hills and Tech, and then let's talk and work something out for you. So it's a pleasure talking to everybody, and I wish you all the best. And I want to also hear when you finally land, please send me a message that you're here so I can say hi. Thank you, Bisola. So Bisola, please take over, and if you have any final words. I think it's a wrap. Everybody has left.
Okay, 1 minute, please.
17 people. Okay.
Thank you everyone for joining the meeting. I hope you found it very, very useful. If in fact, even before the meeting rounded up, everyone has been dropping their review. So I'm very happy about that. So my joy is that everyone who passes through Hills and Tech, would settle in Canada as a successful immigrant. That was my dream for creating this community. I didn't want you relocating and you're clueless. There's no excuse for you to be clueless when you have this community and then everyone we have invited here, most especially Coach Tracy. She knows her onions, and trust me, this is the tip of an iceberg. I know LinkedIn to be a very, very deep tool. In fact, you've not seen anything. That's the truth. You haven't seen anything. You know, um, so in as much she just taught you how to be reactive. So now we are waiting for the recruiters to come to you. But by the time Coach Tracy is done with you, the recruiters will be the one. They will be the ones seeing your profile. Your profile will be showing. Once they click on HSC, there's a LinkedIn algorithm, just the way there's Instagram algorithm. There's a LinkedIn algorithm too that will help you bring out your profile out of multitude, irrespective of your country. So there's an arc to that too. So everyone, as soon as I've already told my students, as soon as they are done, they should start working on their LinkedIn profile. And in fact, they're already applying for remote roles. Some of them have said it is not impossible. So
It's
please
not.
take advantage of the Black Friday offer and then fix this, please. Thank you so much, Coach Tracy.
Thank you, Bisola.
Thank you so much for spending your 2 hours with us.
You're welcome.
We really, really
All right, bye
appreciate it.
everyone. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye.